Joy for Joe as his big sister Mary comes home after 2 years in the Australian outback. Just like Mary's mum, Shirley, Ireland is embracing its returning sons and daughters. Mary was among the many thousands who left after the economy collapsed in 2008. Her return is evidence that the worst may be over. Mary job hopped across Australia, bartending and working on farms.
Yeah, so we got to do some cool things like scuba diving, and we got to do bungee jumping, to, I suppose, out in the outback shearing sheep, and we learned how to go fishing and to shoot guns. So I suppose when we decided we came home, it was exciting at the time, but a bit worrying. We were still a bit worried about being able to find work, even though we heard the economy was picking up. But it was exciting to think we were coming home to our friends and our family again.
The crisis drove Mary and her brother Kieran to Australia. Shirley says it left a big hole in the family of 5 siblings, but they've come back older and wiser.
They are, so hopefully they'll keep going and doing what they're doing. I think they've come home a bit wiser. It's absolutely wonderful to have Kieran and Mary home.
Mary found love in Australia with an Irishman. Together they decided to give Europe another chance. It's not just about home sweet home, but the tantalising taste of economic recovery. Kilrush, a small Irish coastal town, has a long history of emigration. Euronews met Mary first in 2012, packing her bags as rural Ireland reeled from economic catastrophe. Some parishes lost a tenth of their population. The picture today is still mixed. Mary's boyfriend remains in London as a construction worker. She found work at home in the profession she trained for, a rehabilitation assistant helping people with brain injuries.
It took me about a month once I got home to find work, and I'm very lucky that it's a local area as well. I think the economy is improving, but I think it's getting there slowly. I know there needs to be a lot more work, I suppose, involved for everyone to come home.
The fair wind blowing through the Irish economy should bring home more expats in the coming years, according to one Irish economist we spoke to.
Net migration, I think, for 2015 will be about 0, where the number of people leaving will be matched by the number of people coming in. And that will be a big change over what's happened going back 4 or 5 years. And that's likely to continue over the next couple of years. And we may see a reversal of the migration and actually return to seeing more people coming to Ireland rather than leaving.
In crisis-hit Ireland, staying or leaving was a dilemma for most young people. Cork singer Aidan O'Brien didn't write the song Should I Stay or Should I Go, but it was a theme he covered in his own compositions.
1, 2, 1, 2. Well, welcome to Gallers, everybody. I'm Aidan. I'm going to be singing you some songs. There's one in particular we want to record. It's called When Are You Coming Home? It's about a guy who's wondering whether he should emigrate or not. And by the end of the song, he decides that he's going to stay in Ireland. Should I go out and marry a farmer's daughter? Or should I go out and buy some Australian dollar? Should I pack up my traps, a rat in a trap, bat in a trap with a badge of honour? Should I leave my home? I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago people were leaving in big groups. I remember working at the time, and at Christmas just a lot of guys just never came back to Ireland because they knew there was no jobs here. But you don't see that as much anymore, people leaving in groups. My friend, he left in a group of 10 to go to Australia. But even those guys are starting to come back.
From Chinese megacity Shanghai, with its 24 million people, to the tiny Atlantic coast fishing village of Kinvara, population 563. That's Cahill's story. A story that explains Ireland's economic rebound.
That was a success anyway.
A job opportunity with an American consulting firm brought Cahill back to his home village.
That's the first question everyone's going to ask.
I moved over to China in 2011, but the long-term aim would have always to come back home, to come back to Ireland. In the Irish economy right now, things are improving. There are more jobs, there are more positions. Companies are starting to think about long-term hiring plans and where they're going to need to get people back. So yeah, in my opinion, things in Ireland have turned around and are heading back to pretty good territory.
The collapse of the construction industry drove Cahill overseas. In China, he found work and love. Darima is a Russian-born teacher from Siberia. When the first signs of the Irish recovery reached Shanghai, Cahill decided to move home.
My family has lived in this area for 400 or 500 years, and actually the building we're working in right now was a sweet shop that was owned by my grandmother's aunt back in the 30s and 40s.
On their grandfather's farm, Shanghai-born Vivian and Kevin marvel at real cows. When Ireland was ravaged by the crisis, rural areas emptied. The Irish government is now reaching out to its huge diaspora across the world, searching for investors and trying to reverse the brain drain.
Connect Ireland are working with small to medium-sized organisations and want to bring them back, not to the big locations in Ireland, but to bring them back to the country towns and the larger towns in the countryside to keep people from leaving the countryside in Ireland.
At first, moving from Shanghai to Kinvara was really hard for Darima, but technology allows her to keep in touch with her loved ones in Russia and China.
Oh, it's like today it's very easy. It's all Skype, phone, it's all communication, and we stay keeping in touch very often. Like with Mom, I talk every day, almost. And sometimes it even seems that she basically lives with me and tells me what to do, how to bring up my kids.
Back in Cork, Aidan hurries home for a Skype chat with his brother Michael in Australia. Lots of Irish are still abroad. Michael moved from Cork to Sydney 7 years ago. Michael is thinking about bringing his family to Ireland. He would look for work in IT and engineering. Information technology is one of the engines of the Irish recovery.
So, do you ever get homesick?
Do I ever get homesick? You know, we miss you guys, I suppose. You never know. We might, one of the days, we might return.
Yeah, that'll be great. So, do you ever think about coming home?
The economy seems to be picking up. Like the unemployment has dropped to kind of 10%. So, you can definitely see the place is picking up. Like, so I think people are kind of leaving here to go there now. Like, we know a few people have gone in the last couple of years. Like, so you never know, if the right opportunities are there, we might make a move. Like, it just has to be the right, family decision.
As the country tries to stabilise its economic recovery and to bring its expat workers home, Aidan contributes in his own creative way, composing songs, working through the issues that many of his generation have had to deal with.
It's a song about me, and I was thinking about leaving Ireland, and I was thinking of reasons I should stay, reasons I should go, and then by the end of the chorus I realised I'm not going anywhere, but if you guys want to come back, that'd be great.